want to build something that lasts, you really have to take time to work on it, to build it. It doesn't mean that you have to hate yourself while you're doing it. It only means that you just have to slowly put in the work, put in the effort, and determine the task that actually moves the needle. And it doesn't happen by just working, and overworking and, going on sleepless nights. It's actually the opposite. It happens by taking your time, setting in the schedule, putting in the work on your optimal state. And that where the real work comes in. And when I say real work, it's not mindless work, but it's actually mindful working. Working mindfully and knowing when to go into deep work. When is the state that you're most effective? That when your ideas comes in easily, when you can get into the flow easily. The work actually comes in the discipline, knowing how to take care of yourself so that you can put yourself in that position where you can get into the flow state, a state of flow where everything comes in easily and you're just the best version of yourself while working on the business rather than doing the opposite. I'm currently traveling from Camigan to Bohol on our way back home to La Union actually. And it's January 4th, 2026. This channel will be mainly a compilation of my learnings, my own journey, everything that I've learned from last year, and everything that I will be learning in this coming year. I will be sharing mostly about my business journey, my entrepreneurship journey, my founder journey, and my journey in my health and well being, whether it's through my physical health, my fitness, and my mental health. Yeah, so everything that I feel like would be helpful to someone who is probably in the same phase or in a similar journey that I am now. If you're someone that resonates with where I am or in my journey, then yeah, feel free to continue watching and listen in. I am someone who deeply cares about my health primarily, and my approach in creating a business is kind of unique because I approach it in a way that I don't sacrifice my health anymore. I say that because I have three businesses. I started or co-founded a video production company in 2012, and before that I was freelancing, so I consider that as a business as well. And during the time of my life, I'm 37 now, so in 2012 I was 24, so started earlier in my early 20s. I didn't really prioritize my health, or I didn't prioritize it in the right way. I would say that I was misinformed. I had this idea that I was young and I could have all the energy. I didn't have to, take care of my body as much as I needed to. So I just didn't have a really good routine. I slept late all the time. Like my normal sleeping pattern would be from 4 a.m. or even 5 a.m. and then I would wake up around 11 or later. I would wake up whenever I want actually, and I would go out a lot. I wouldn't drink excessively like in a day, but I would have maybe 2 or 3 drinks in a day or even more during weekends. And I will always be out. I even smoked earlier until I realized that my lungs was getting worse in terms of like I wasn't like a chain smoker. I would smoke like 5 sticks a day. But I love playing basketball. I worked out, I ran regularly, and I saw that it had an effect on my lungs. So I kinda quit that sooner, like when I was like 26, I stopped smoking cigarettes. But anyway, like that was like my habit. I would eat, like I thought eating chicken breast every day because I was like conscious of how I would look more than how I would feel. So I tried to have a lifestyle where, yeah, I work on my business. I worked a lot. Like I would work at night, sleep late, and just continue working until I get burnt out. I would regularly get sick, like maybe 5 times a year. I would get colds and, yeah, just overwork myself. I would make a good amount of money, but not knowing that I would be actually was in a state of stress all the time, trying to chase deadlines, taking in projects or more projects that I could. I just saw it as profit and sustain my lifestyle. Yeah, that actually worsened my gut condition. I would regular acid reflux episodes, and I would just mask that by taking actually had acid reflux when I was young, like in my before my teenage years, and that was because of my intake of soft drinks like soda. I enjoyed soda. I would drink it every day. A lot of sugar, a lot of cheese. So earlier on, like I would I would eat well, I would say, when I was young, but I didn't eat the right. I wasn't informed in terms of what I should eat. I knew that I needed to eat vegetables, but I just disregarded it. I didn't like it, like I think most kids. But because we weren't really informed and we had a lot of bad food around us, so I like carried that throughout my 20s. Yeah, I just didn't know how to build a business that took care of me. Like I unknowingly or unconsciously built a business that I had to consciously be present with. And no regrets at all because all of those experiences were learning experiences and it made me into the type of person and the type of entrepreneur that I am now. Yeah. So right now I'm in this journey of building a business through a calmer way, a more sustainable way. And my business is built around helping small businesses with their digital marketing presence. I do that and I've created a system that's more sustainable. So my approach is sustainable marketing, and I I'm in this journey of building a business that sustains me, that sustains my lifestyle, and I'm very mindful of overworking, I'm just being mindful of the amount of stress that I can tolerate, that I can manage, and just being conscious of what I can deliver sustainably, being conscious of my capacity, of the work that I can take in. And yeah, it's focused on creating systems that allow me to scale in a sustainable way, to take in clients in a sustainable way, and also offer services that I can sustain for them. And that mainly is through an approach that doesn't chase trends, an approach that doesn't chase virality, but rather creating content that is compelling, that is evergreen, that whenever you see that piece of content from me or from my clients, it is something has a longer shelf life than usual. That's something that can still resonate with the right person. And that's also what I'm intending to do with this channel and this platform. That if someone sees this video after years, they would still be able to resonate with it and learn from it. So yeah, last year was heavily focused on restarting and relearning and also unlearning even more what I've consumed in the past. I would say my journey started last year's journey started with rest. I started the year with taking my time. I was able to have a nice relief from my financial responsibilities. The previous years, 2023, 2024, I was recovering from a failed business that accumulated a lot of debt for myself, personal loans, business loans, mainly from scaling too fast. So I kind of fell into the same patterns back in my early to late 20s of just scaling too fast, pushing too hard, yeah, just not being mindful of my capacity and my capabilities. It's just like really trying to grow something very fast, growing a business faster than I can actually sustain. So when I had opportunity to regain my financial balance, I took some time to reflect and rest. I was still employed back then during that time, and I'm very grateful to the opportunities that that employment brought me. And yeah, like the past couple of years before 2025, I decided to work after my failed business. I decided to have a regular job, a regular income after decades or a decade of just being a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, freelancing, and it helped actually. It helped manage my stress levels. It helped me just have consistency, build my routines, and take care of myself. Enjoy the lifestyle that I found to be beneficial to me, to my personal well-being, my mental health, have clarity in terms of how I would want to approach and live my life. Building an intentional lifestyle has always been something that I deeply cared about. And being close to nature, investing in myself, investing in my environment so that I can have a healthy environment, fresh air, clean air, an environment that nurtures me so that I can nurture and be of service, to be in better service of the people around me and the communities that I want to give back to. So yeah, just want to give context in terms of how I got to where I was or where I am. In my third attempt on my business that failed. During that time, my intention was to create a business that would be able to give back to communities. I wanted to create conscious content. I was a filmmaker. I am a filmmaker until now. I still have films that I am finishing, and I wanted to create a platform where I can continue to create content or create films that I deeply care about, stories, to tell stories that I'm passionate about, that I care about. I was actually in the right path. I was just wasn't able to manage the business side of it well enough. And as I mentioned, I scaled too fast. I found success, but I wasn't able to sustain it. So when I reached to the point that I was too stressed out with the uncertainties of when the next project would come in and all of that, I just decided to, okay, I'll call it quits, surrender to the situation, and the thing that made sense the most is to get a job. And so I did that for a couple of years. I found a job online that would allow me to work from home. That was actually easy for me to do. I became a head of content for an Australian company called STG Global, and I'm very grateful for STG for bringing me in. And I was one of the team members that actually helped start their marketing team. So they had a couple of marketing teams before that they had to totally wipe out. And then as they decided to build a new one, I was fortunate enough to be part of that team. I was their content creator, photographer, drone operator. I was part of the team, the marketing team, sales and marketing team actually. It was kind of a team that they built into one. And it was very synchronistic because I knew that sales and marketing was my weakness. And that was one of the main reasons why my previous business failed, is because that I had a sales and marketing team in my previous business, but we had to separate due to personal issues. That would be something for next video. But yeah, so basically I lost that. We lost that part of that team. So yeah, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to market the content that I was creating. I was offering a one-sided aspect of the business, but I knew that I can create great content, that I can create great stories, tell stories, connect to people through the stories or through the content that I can create. And so I was fortunate enough to be part of this team. I was under one of the best salesperson in, I would say, in Australia. Could sell a lot of trucks for STG, and I was teamed up with a really experienced, a very smart marketing manager, and then we eventually grew that team from just being, we eventually became two in our team, and then we eventually regrew it to now a team of four. Eventually hired an editor and trained that editor, and got to the point where I was ready to, I learned a lot, got to the point where I had an opportunity to even lead a community outreach program for the company, and started Waves of Giving, had a genuine connection with the owner of the company, which fast forward led to where I am now, having this opportunity to start another business. So yeah, I, while staying in that company, they allowed me to begin building Clean Ocean, which is the marketing agency that I have now. And I started that in, I would say, May was when I started building Clean Ocean. I had to resign from SDG in October, which was quite difficult for me personally, because I really enjoyed working with my team, really enjoyed traveling in Australia, provided me with a lot of opportunities, and it's the main reason why I was able to start this business, to start Clean Ocean. But of course, like with anything, you have to follow our plan, and when the opportunity shows up, we just have to grab it. You can't decline, and I felt that I was ready to start again. I felt that I was ready to expand, to grow to the next phase of my journey. So here I am. And last year was after my reset, after my rest earlier in the first quarter. It was a lot of learning how to build a business can eventually run without me. That's the main intention. Last year, I had the opportunity to join a program called Founder OS, where I'm still in that program right now. In that program, I am learning, and I learned how to create a business, a system-oriented business that runs in a calm and peaceful way. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be like that off the bat. Like, there is work to be done, and that's the main thing. One of the main things that I've learned last year, towards the end of the year, is that if you want to build something that lasts, you really have to take time to work on it, to build it. It doesn't mean that you have to hate yourself while you're doing it. It only means that you just have to slowly put in the work, put in the effort, and determine the task that actually moves the needle. And it doesn't happen by just working, and overworking, and going on sleepless nights. It's actually the opposite. It happens by taking your time, setting in the schedule, putting in the work on your optimal state. And that where the real work comes in. And when I say real work, it's not mindless work, but it's actually mindful working. Working mindfully and knowing when to go into deep work. When is the state that you're most effective? That when your ideas comes in easily, when you can get into the flow easily. The work actually comes in the discipline, knowing how to take care of yourself, so that you can put yourself in that position where you can get into the flow state, a state of flow where everything comes in easily, and you're just the best version of yourself while working on the business, rather than doing the opposite. In the past, I would just like work whenever I feel like it, know that I have like X amount of time, but realizing now that that's not the most optimal time that I can create. Creating a business and running a business is all about creativity, and not the kind of creativity where you have to paint or make films or take photos. That is kind of creativity, but it's a different type of creativity. The type of creativity that generates solutions, generates great ideas, that produces your brilliance. Creativity in being able to be in that state, because at the end of the day, you're the only person who knows how to put yourself in a situation where you're in your most optimal state, in your most creative state, if that makes sense. And that's what I say when where the real work comes in with discipline, because discipline is not just about delayed gratification. At least for me, it's about putting in the bits and pieces, that 1% of just being a better version of yourself, that 1% habit that makes you a better person in the next 7 days. And by saying that, it doesn't happen overnight. It's about finding your rhythm on a long-term basis. And for me, it goes back to really taking care of myself. It might be different for other people, but this is something that I find that works for me, and that's the only way that I see myself doing it. Because when I take care of myself, that's when I'm optimal. When I take care of myself, that's when I'm most connected to my higher self. And when I'm most connected to my higher self, it's when the ease comes. It's when the ease of generating high quality content, high quality idea comes. It's when the aha moments just comes. It's when the clarity arrives. Clarity is not permanent. That's also something that I've learned. Clarity is something that comes, something that passes, but it's always there. Maybe it's permanent in a way that we always have access to it. But you can't expect yourself to always be clear. But you have to put yourself in a situation or in a position to have that clarity. And that comes with, healthy habits, healthy routines, healthy rituals. And for me, that means meditating every morning, eating right, working out, surfing, and just generally enjoying life. Because when I'm joyful, I when it's fun, when I'm having a great time, when I'm enjoying it, when I'm in a state of high vibration, and I'm just ecstatic, I'm grateful, I'm filled with gratitude. That's where everything just connects. That's where when everything becomes easy. That's where everything just flows. So yeah, and 2026, I had to surf less, but I was still able to like find that balance, to be able to surf, to be able to, because like in the past few years that was like my main priority. I just want to be able to surf the best waves as much as I can. But of course, like it's always finding that balance. It's finding that healthy balance to be able to achieve and set yourself up for your long-term vision. So I had to make a little bit of sacrifices and work on this business, because my main intention for Clean Ocean is to be able to sustain the lifestyle that I want, which involves, of course, like a lot of surf trips, being comfortable, eventually raising a family, and being able to spend time with my future kids, being able to be present with my future family, and create the wonderful home that is sustainable, that produces organic food, that is in nature, takes care of nature, and takes care of the community around me, and to be able to continue to create programs that give back to less fortunate communities, and just to continue to build a community that wants to do the same. And that's primarily why I'm building this business. It's not that just so that I can create profit, create revenue. It's meant to be a vehicle to create the life I truly want to live for myself and my future kids and my current partner in life. That's why each and every step is done mindfully. How I'm very conscious about my limitations, my capacity, knowing when to take a break, having healthy boundaries on when to work and when to take a break, when to stop working, prioritizing myself, prioritizing my health, prioritizing my well-being. And yeah, so I'll be sharing more in the next videos. I hope that you learned something from this entry. I'm gonna be starting the year with continuing what I built for myself, continuing the habits that I've created for myself, the healthy habits that I've been nurturing. I'll be measuring it more, measuring my health more this year. And one of the key intentions that I have for this year is just to strengthen my intuition. It's just as simple as that. There's been a really clear message that has been coming to me to tap into in my intuition even more. And this is something that I've intended to do for myself in the past few years. So this is nothing new. It's just a reminder of my intentions as I live this intentional lifestyle, this conscious and mindful way of approaching this gift of life that I'm fortunate enough to live for 37 years, and hopefully fortunate enough to live for another 70 or 80. So, yeah, so this is just, I would say, the first quarter of my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share it with this new community in YouTube or wherever this video may reach. So, yeah, just tune in for more content like this. I'll also have nicer videos, not just me talking, of my travels, of my journey. Yeah, and this channel would be a platform where I upload a lot of the videos that I haven't posted yet in my years of filmmaking. So yeah, just stay tuned, and sending you love, peace, and blessings, and a beautiful start of the year.